This critical EDH video is brought to you by Dootloot, your one-stop shop for Japanese and Russian foils. If you spend $100 or more, you'll earn free entry into the largest online cEDH league this month. So don't miss out and upgrade your deck's bling today.
Hey everyone, I wanted to talk about a post I made on Twitter the other day. This is a thing I've been doing on Twitter where I just post like a set of mulligans, and for this deck it was Tivit. I basically posted a, you can see here on the side, it says, things are bad, they aren't getting better. We're on a mulligan to 4, what do you pitch, what do you keep, what's the play? And something I wanted to talk about was just like the idea that you can put yourself in a mindset where you refuse to lose, or basically give yourself every option you can to try to win the game, even if you're in a bad situation, whether that's in seat 4 or at a low mulligan, or you have limited resources at your disposal. Whatever the situation may be, in a tournament, your goal is to win games, and you must do everything you can in order to win a game or score a point, and that includes drawing. And at least in the US, drawing is a very real thing, and sometimes you are faced with situations in which you must draw in order to not lose. That's okay, but that's like really not the whole focus of this video. What caused me to make this video and start talking about this is that I saw a lot of very interesting responses to what I posted here, and to me this was pretty clear as to what like the game plan would be. I wanted to talk about it. I have the deck together and I have it here, but I first wanted to kind of like look through some of the responses and see what people said. So our opening hand is Hallowed Fountain, Underground Sea, Esper Sentinel, Grand Abolisher, Dark Ritual, Beseech the Mirror, Thassa's Oracle. Let's look at the hand and see what it's presenting us. Keep in mind we're on a mulligan to 4, so 3 of these cards must go to the bottom. We don't know what card we're going to draw for the turn. It doesn't really matter what seed order we're in, but say we're in, I don't know, seed 3, so nothing great. But that also means like we're not playing from seat 1 or 2. We're not playing super proactive, or we're not leading the game. And our previous hands didn't really present us with anything, whereas this hand, it looks like there's something that could happen here. So we've got, the first thing I would look at is our mana base, and just whatever can generate us mana. Right now it's just these 2 cards and Dark Ritual. Looking at these, obviously Dark Ritual is only castable with Underground Sea. Hallowed Fountain is great because we can cast Sentinel. So this is certainly an option of 4 cards we could pick. We could bin these 3 if we wanted to. But what of these cards is really going to push us forward and get us to where we need to go? I think it's Esper Sentinel, because since we're going down on cards, we kind of want to go back up. That gives us a good chance to get more card advantage, or not even really advantage, just get back to where we need to be. Thassa's Oracle is a great card in if we can win the game. Grand Abolisher is a great card at protecting us, but obviously right here, right now, it doesn't do anything. Dark Ritual's okay. We have a spell in Beseech that we can cast with Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual makes 3 black. We have 3 black pips on Beseech. And we have potentially mana here. We could do this. We have UC, Hallowed Fountain, Dark Rit, turn 2 Beseech. We can't bargain with the information we have with these 4 cards, but we could at least tutor something decent. The problem is that if we don't draw another mana source, that means we can't play Rhystic Study, and that kind of sucks. So that's kind of a tough option. But before I get into what my thoughts are on these, I really just wanted to say, like, start to evaluate what you're looking at. So we have tutor, potential card draw, we have mana, and we have what we'll call like late game either protection or just combo. So I'm going to set the physical cards aside for now, and then I'm going to look through some of these. So Nightlocker, friend of the channel, Ethan, says, keep the lands, Esper, and Dark Rit. The plan before I draw is turn 1 Esper, turn 2 Tymna. I think that he thinks that I was doing this for T and K, because I always do this for T and K. But yeah, kind of funny in there. So we'll skip to the next one. Two-thirds Nelson says, keep 2 lands, Esper, Dark Rit, and then beg seat 1 to concede. I mean, that's a possibility, right? Like 2 lands, Esper, and Dark Rit. So we have mana and card draw, which is what cEDH is, basically. I think that's okay. That's really not the worst 4 that I've seen. Keep UC, Fountain, Dark Rit, Beseech. It'll work out. Just trust. So this combination of cards, that's interesting as well, because we can turn 2 Beseech, but there's no guarantee that we can bargain or do anything with it, so that's kind of weird. I'm going to skip Jacob's comment for now. Brody says, easy keep. Esper, Fountain, C, and Abolisher. So Esper, Fountain, C, and Abolisher. I don't really know what this does. I think that Abolisher doesn't really do anything for us, and if it gets copied, if we're even able to play it, we don't have 2 white. If we're able to play it, if it gets copied, we just like lose the game. Don't really like that. Andrew says Esper, Sentinel, Dark Rit, and both lands. That seems like it's a common one. DG also says the same thing, and he says hope to draw into anything that can keep us going. Yeah, that's reasonable. Fiesta also says Esper lands, Dark Rit. Feel like Beseech is a trap. If it gets countered, you're 100% out of the game. Well, here's the thing. We're kind of already out of the game. I think our chances of getting back into the game are really going to depend on what happens with Sentinel. So I think we have to keep Sentinel. Commander Arena MTG says 2 lands, Esper, Ritual. A lot of that going around. So just a reminder to everyone, we're on a mulligan to 4. Mana sources are great, but if we mulligan down to 2 for all these cards, let's put all these out. We mulligan down to 2. What cards are we keeping? I think we're keeping Fountain and Sentinel. If we mulligan down to 3, what cards are we keeping? I don't think we're keeping this. I don't think we're keeping this. We're not keeping Beseech. 3, Dark Ritual's not castable from Fountain, so I think we're probably going to keep this on 3. So that leaves us here. Sorry. Adjusting for camera. On 4, we have options. We could keep Dark Rit or really Beseech. I don't think that this is right to keep Beseech here because there's no guarantee we're going to have any of the mana here. Dark Rit's okay if we're adding that 4. But Abolisher is like not castable. Thassa's Oracle doesn't do anything on its own. So this is like a reasonable 4. But I really think we shouldn't be rolling over and just kind of hoping that we draw something. I think we already have the something. The chances that we draw a land or a land that makes mana that we need are higher, especially with Sentinel, than drawing a explosive piece like Beseech. So I think what I would keep in this situation, and a few people have said this, I think Jacob was the first one to say this. I would keep Dark Rit Beseech. And it feels weird. It feels wrong. But, like, you know what? we're on a mulligan of 4, and we have to do what we can to sort of mitigate the situation we're being put in. I think that there's a somewhat good chance we draw from Sentinel. We draw something black to cast Dark Writ, and then we can beseech away the Sentinel. The other thing we can do is, because Thassa's Oracle is going on the bottom, is that we can probably put Thassa like second from the bottom. And even so, we could do... We have Underground Sea. So I think we put Abolisher here, and we put Underground Sea on the bottom, and we put Thassa second from the bottom. So in case we're able to beseech for Tainted Pact, we Tainted Pact our entire library, stop at Thassa's Oracle, put this into hand, play C for turn, play Thassa's Oracle, and we have 2 blue for that. So like, I'd rather take the gamble on what this is presenting to us than take the very safe route of 2 lands Sentinel Dark Writ, or 2 lands Sentinel Beseech. I really think it's 2 lands Sentinel Dark Writ. I think that these decisions aren't talked about enough and really make the difference between winning your game here on a mulligan of 4 and drawing or losing that game. We can even sort of play test this out. So we'll take these 2 cards. Let me pull this off the screen here. We'll get a full view. I've got Tivit here as well. He doesn't matter, but he should be here. So what we said was Underground Sea on the bottom, then Thassa, and then Abolisher. And our opponents don't know this, right? So I will shuffle this library because you guys didn't see me shuffle it. We have a few opportunities to draw a black mana source to make this possible. Here's me cutting it and put it here. We'll play face up. Here's Tivit in command zone. These 3 are on the bottom. There's Tivit. So we have Fountain, Sentinel, Dark Writ, Beseech. Player 1 goes, player 2 goes. It's our turn. We're player 3. We draw for turn. Draw Mox Opal. Not the worst thing that we could have drawn. So we'll play our Fountain, play our Sentinel, we'll play our Mox Opal. Okay. How many cards do you think we'll draw from Sentinel? I think at minimum we draw 2. And I think that's pretty safe to say in mulliganing and in these playtest sessions. I think 2 is probably a good number. We have 3 players before our next turn. 2 of the 3 will play a non-creature spell, not pay for it. They're not really worried about us. We have 2 cards in hand. Like, what are we going to do? We untap, or sorry, we draw 2 from Sentinel. These 2 are City of Brass, Vamp Tutor. Then we draw for turn. It's Forbidden Orchard. So like, our deck is really good at making mana because we have a responsible number of lands in Tivit. And wouldn't you know it, here's Dark Writ here. Everyone passes. Tap this. Cast Beseech, sacking Opal, actually, which is nice. And then we can get Tainted Pact and stop there, and then play Thassa next turn. Or we can just, if we're feeling good about this situation here, we're not feeling comfortable with doing Beseech into Tainted Pact, we can just get Smothering Tithe, which is not bad because we have Vamp Tutor. Or Ristic Study, and then continue to grind out the game. So I think we have options, but I can show you like there's no magic that happened here. I didn't edit or cut this. I didn't stack the deck in any way. But I think that as players, we need to do a better job of utilizing the cards that are given to us and the opportunities that are given to us by even just like a mulligan of 4 that could have turned into nothing. Like, I think there's definitely situations where you have, if we grab the Underground Sea, so we have Hallowed Fountain, Sea, Sentinel, Dark Red, and then these 2 and Beseech on the bottom. We'll still put Thassa, like, I don't know, second from the bottom. It doesn't matter. Okay. We can run it back and we can play test this to see. We could even run the same scenario over and over again and just see, like, how many times do I get to where I need to go with this hand. I think in my experience, I'd rather keep the explosive card and just hope to draw a land, especially we have a Sentinel. Like, there's 3 or 4 chances that we'll get a land. So shuffled. These are on the bottom. Sentinels here. Okay. So again, we're face up. Back to what was suggested. And who knows? This might work out well. But I think over iterations, like many different iterations, my experience, I'd rather keep the other hand. But let's see how this works. Draw for turn. Okay. A land, which is fine. We'll play the Hallowed Fountain. We'll save the fetch for later. And we'll play Sentinel. We'll draw the same 2 cards that we drew before. So here's 2 from Sentinel. Land, land. That's tough. Untap. Draw again. Pedal. Okay, so like, again, I shuffled and everything. This is my point. We drew into straight mana, which is not the worst thing in the world. Let's play, just for sake, we'll play Tarnished. Okay. And we have 1, 2, 3 mana. We need 6 for Tivit. We're still 1 short on Tivit. And we have a turn 3 Tivit is where this is getting us. That is much rougher than all of the other options that were presented to us with that Beseech and Dark Red. And you know what? If you don't hit the Beseech and Dark Red, guess what? If you don't hit the land required for the Beseech and Dark Red, guess what? You're in the same spot as where we're at right now. We have Sentinel, and we have either lands or just cards that don't do anything. So I think there's just like a reason why we would push for the more aggressive option, especially mulling down to 4. I really am trying to push this idea that we have agency as players, and it doesn't matter if you're down and out. It doesn't matter if you're on a low mulligan or you're in a late turn order, or if things aren't just not going well for you in a game. Things can change at drop of a hat, of just like, oh, I drew a card and all of a sudden I have breach now. And the tide of the game can change at any given time. Someone can, like, what if one of your opponents rips a wheel and like you've been setting up, but you just don't have anything. You don't have anything to stop them from wheeling. So you're like, okay. And if they don't get anything off of their wheel and you get only gas and you've just been setting up for 3 turns, that's great. But you have to play like you're going to win the game. You have to play like you're winning the game, or you intend to win the game. You cannot just roll over, play dead. You can't count yourself out at any point, because it's not going to get you anywhere. You need to win these games in tournaments, and I think the only way to do that is to start recognizing these patterns. If I misplayed it all, I apologize. I'm sorry. But I did this in one cut, and again, I shuffled between everything, so not really trying to play any tricks with camera or anything like that. If you have questions about this type of thinking or this type of practice, please feel free to ask, and I'd love to talk about it, because I think this is something we can do as players at home. We can push ourselves and try to evaluate these hands. And like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, like, you can just take every card in your deck, shuffle it, and it's good to do it in paper too, because like, if you do it in paper, you get that muscle memory, you get used to shuffling. Just feels good. Your brain starts, those neurons start connecting, start making those pathways. All right, here's 7. Otawara, Spell Pierce, Fairy, Forbidden Orchard, Archivist, Wishclaw, and Arcane Signet. Okay, but like, this is a mulligan of 5, so I have to pitch 2. Is this good enough? I don't know. I don't really think it gets me anywhere. I have land, Archivist. I have land, this, or land, this. It doesn't do anything. I need more than this. I need a way to win the game. I need something that gets me into the game. And if I don't get it in any of these mulligans, oh well. I mulled down to 3. I tried to do what I could, mulled down to 2. I've seen Jason win games off of land. I've seen him win games off of land, Demonic Tutor, and on a mull of 2. Anything can happen. But if you don't try to push for winning at any cost, any legal cost, of course, like, don't break the rules, don't do anything like that. But if you don't try to push for wins at any legal cost, then you will not win the games that you should win. So that's all I have to say. Hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please leave a like, leave a comment, and otherwise we'll see you in the next one.